If there's one simple and accurate summary of my priorities, well, many people use this time of year to reevaluate their own. It's that my major pursuit needs to be finding more control over my own thoughts. I think rewording or even redefining one's own perceived obstacles is probably a good idea if it gives one the chance to start circling my actions more closely around the right sort of thing. So, while an assortment of personal priorities continue to manically dart about my mind in a tangled web like most thoughts have done lately, my primary priorities, and I may just have to tattoo this onto my eyelids, is to develop more control over my thoughts and indeed over my other priorities. I shan't dither by unpacking everything I may need to do in order to pursue that. One thing I never lack, though, or seem to, is motivation. I've definitely been existing on the other extreme, where I obsessively raise an internal bar higher for myself than is actually possible or practical, ultimately. So here's to more functional simplicity in every form I and we may find it. I don't buy into the cliche complacency trend when people remark on the kind of year it's been. I think we're all somewhat prompted or triggered to dwell on seemingly hopeless things to just normalise it all. God knows, I know the feeling of being overwhelmed with information, but quite honestly, that's an obstacle that's only applied in my localised existence, at least lately. I've been too preoccupied with localised matters to agonise much about national or global matters. And I'm not suggesting for 1 second I have apathy of real world issues. I just think we need to be mindful of what we can and cannot do as individuals. It seems the only way we can make significant and positive difference in our world, on whatever context or scale you want to look at it, is to first accept that bad things happen every day and good things happen every day, always have, always will. Then once you can make some amount of peace with that truth, you can occupy your thoughts and energy into something, into positive things you can do and changes you can make. It sounds self-centered when I first try to explain this, and there's an element of practical truth to that, but I feel this constant state of frustration and quiet despair is what oppresses us often from making further progress of any kind. So look, I've got a lot to still learn about myself, but clearly everyone is empowered from a bit of simplicity. If you're frustrated you can't make an enormous impact on everything wrong in the world, you're more so distracting yourself from the people and things you actually can have some positive impact on, it seems to me. And I haven't particularly got any sort of commitment to being preachy. I know there'd be no point in even attempting to preach. It's only a point of view, and I felt the need to make that point of view because there's an obvious positive intention to me saying it, which is exactly the point I was making, in that I think trying to make any sort of positive impression on macro and micro scale, surely we have to occupy our time and thoughts more with what we can actually do that's in any small way worth at least attempting. Otherwise we waste most of that time and thinking on things outside of our grasp. So start grasping things close to you. And I'm not talking about wanking, but for some people that may be a good place for you to start. So all that's left to cover now is a friend and I have started a new podcast. And as with the point I previously made, I don't particularly need to justify that's existence either. But it's happening both in real terms and as one might describe something agreeable if you're a hipster of a certain bygone era, in that it is happening. The episodes are short, so its low committal, does mostly what it says on the tin, and it's on most of the usual platforms, including social media ones. It's called How Do We Start? Bye now.